Joining. Here we go. What up, brother?
How's it going, brother?
Good to see you, mate. Good to see you.
Likewise, likewise.
Yeah. For those that don't know, if you're tuning in live or whatever, remember to leave a comment. If you have a question for Filipe, I've got a few here as well. So we actually go way back to, when was it, man? We were running around at primary school.
Yeah, running around as kids, back in Upper Hutt.
Upper Hutt Rugby League, and then went to school together. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about you, man. Just a bit of an intro.
Ooh. Tongan. Born to Tongan parents. In New Zealand. Spent a bit of time in Tonga and then spent a bit of time back in New Zealand too. Come from a big family. And like you said, we grew up together in Upper Hutt and, got in a little bit of trouble sometimes, but got ourselves out.
Yeah, that's the one, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Spent a lot of time playing rugby all over the place, actually.
Can you elaborate on that, man, on your career? And because I know that you left at a pretty young age over to Australia. So how was that, and to where you are now in France?
Yeah, no, it was a good journey, actually. It was a little rough at some stages, but we're here, we're still alive, we're still kicking. 18 going on 19, signed my first contract with the Melbourne Storm, playing rugby league. Moved over to Australia. I was based at a feeder club in Brisbane, and spent a lot of time between Brisbane and Melbourne. So that was the first step of the journey. Then switched codes back to rugby. Spent a bit of time playing around Australia, mostly based in Brisbane. What have we got? We played Australian Sevens in 2007. Came back to Australia after that tour and was lucky enough to pick up something with the Melbourne Rebels at the time, which was an ARC competition, Australian Rugby Championship, I believe it was called. And then 2008, toured with the Western Force here in Europe and picked up a 2-year deal with the Western Force back then. Since then, I've been, I believe I've spent a better part of 8 years just travelling around France, or moving from club to club here in France. Unfortunately, for some of the clubs, it didn't quite go the way they wanted to. But now I'm here in Biarritz, and I've been based in Biarritz for 3 years now.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful country. I've spent a little bit of time in France and Europe, so
yeah, no, it's
sure
a beautiful
nice
country.
spot to be.
Yeah, it is.
Cool, man. It must have been, how was that as a young guy, man? I know, like, because you would have had to leave family behind probably, and how was that? Because a lot of young players now, they're faced with that, and you see in the media a lot about how hard it is, man, especially a lot of the Polynesian boys. So is there anything that you could pass on that, could help them? Because, a lot of them really struggle leaving their families that young.
Obviously at 18, leaving family in New Zealand, it was pretty hard. You tend to lose your way a little bit, get up to a little bit of mischief, but that's what really gets you, I guess, is the fact that you're away from home. Everything's almost new to you. So I guess the hardest thing about it is keeping your head down and doing the right thing, as my parents always used to say. You do the right thing and everything will turn out fine. But for a lot of Polynesian kids, it does get hard when you step out of your comfort zone into something else that you're not quite used to. It's just adapting, I guess, is the hardest part of it.
So would you have any, like, what would your advice be, man? Like, to a young guy just coming out of school now, looking at that jump? Hey, they're from Scotland, Chris. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, you're right. I guess the only bit of advice I got is the advice that I got from my parents is just do the right thing, don't try not to lose your way. I guess their term doing the right thing is just, sticking to that path that you're on, or sticking to that, your morals, sticking to what your parents have taught you, or just, what you really feel deep down inside is the right thing. Then you definitely won't go wrong,
See, I know, I want to jump in there, bro, because I know you're blessed to have a beautiful family, man, and you're brought up with those values, and you're able to live them, and like I just see you, like you can say it, but like just
Yeah.
some people just don't. You're probably lucky to have that, I guess, because some people don't have that grounding.
Oof. If not to somebody who doesn't exactly have that grounding, I guess the only bit of advice you can give them is just keep your head down.
Keep your head down. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, keep your head down. Just do the hard yards. I mean, to be honest, if your Instagram is doing better than you are in real life, then that's not the ideal situation, right? So,
Yeah.
These days it gets hard, not to post on Insta or keep up with your social media. It's a massive distraction. It's but at the same time, it's the world's changing. It's an amazing thing. But yeah, I guess just keep your head down, do the hard yards, put in the work, and if you know exactly where you're going, then it doesn't matter what route you really take.
Man, that's awesome advice, bro. That's what I speak about a lot on my page. Is just having that belief, that vision, and then learning to, like you said, do the hard yards, love the process.
Exactly.
But like me at 18, even, bro. Like, there's no way I could have had that. Like what you're talking about. So, you must have had a huge self belief, man, in yourself. Like, what did you have a vision back then, as a young fella?
Back then, I had somewhat of a vision. I'm not saying that it was easier to get to where I am today. And to be honest, I like everybody else, or everybody grows into their shoes eventually. It's not direct. It's not it's not something that's just going to happen overnight. You'll get there if your dream and your vision is really there. You'll find a way to get there. You might veer off the path a little bit. You might get distracted along the way, but you're definitely going to get there.
Man, yeah, 100%, bro. If we can get a bit more specific, man, how do you, like now, like where you are, how do you prepare for a game, like during the week, and any tips or tools that you use game day?
Oof. Yeah, I'm a bit weird in that way. Preparing during the week. Honestly, I get up every morning. I go into work. I do the hard yards, even when it hurts. Some days you just don't really feel like getting out of bed, but you do. Especially when if you have your, well, I guess they say if you really have a good why. That's the
So
thing
what's
that
your
will pull
why,
you out
bro?
of bed.
Because that's what's screaming out to me, man, and that's what you try and, like I talk about here a lot with people, and that why is just, that's that energy, passion you're gonna have with those little wins and losses aren't that big because your why's so big, right?
Yeah.
So what is your why, man?
I have a few whys actually. Obviously, growing up, it wasn't. We didn't have the best of things. Our parents did whatever, whenever they could. Just to put food on the table. So a massive thing is definitely my family. That's a massive why.
100%.
I do have a younger brother who's now 16, and
Oh wow.
he's coming up through those grades. So just a lot of the time it's setting a better example for him than
Awesome.
at least that way he's got something to look up to. I mean, I've also got
Man,
my
and that
younger
that
brother.
that, that makes those hard days a piece of cake then, right? When you got something that meaningful, bro.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, family is always the number one. And then obviously you got your dreams outside of rugby per se, or your situation at the moment. And that's another massive thing. If you use the tools that you got to get to where you want to go, then use them to the best of your ability.
100%. Bro, that's a lot of wisdom there, brother. Um, so that's kind of like, what are some of the other whys you were talking about? Is there other ones
Uh,
there?
yeah, like I said, like what obviously my personal goal. I've always had a passion for theatre.
Mm,
You know, well, always had a dream to become an actor. That was
man, wicked.
that was a big part of my. I always kept it inside of me. It was something that I held to myself. And so I knew rugby is obviously something that I can do and I can do quite well, obviously.
Mm,
Um, so it's also a great stepping stone for me to get to where I want to be. Um, just live life to the fullest. I mean, we can only do this for so long. So every morning that I get up and say to myself, "Hey, you've only got a couple more years left in you. Strap those boots on and get out there." So yeah,
100%, bro. No, I love that, man. Live life to the fullest because it's so true, man. I think no matter like intrinsically, you know what I mean. When you're in that mindset, no matter what you're
mm,
doing, you sort of you're enjoying yourself, enjoying life. Whatever it
yeah,
is.
exactly, exactly. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. As long as
Yeah,
you got something to chase after, then you know, then I guess
so
it,
true,
it, it
bro.
brings out the better part of you. And if we was going after something, then happiness is just around the corner, right?
100%, bro. That purpose, sort of growing. You talk about acting, man. You're pretty into it at school, bro. I remember you're up there in the sort
Yeah, a
of
couple of
plays and that.
few productions back in the days. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Excuse me.
when do you start to like lock in for game day, bro? Like I know every play is different, but is there a certain point where you sort of start zoning in, or are you calm, or what's your sort of style?
Uh, in regards to preparation, that's the week, the whole week leading up to game day. It's all preparation. Um, that's the only time that I really take anything in. Uh, I seem to fall under that category whereas if you try to feed me something on the day, it's more than likely going to go through one ear and out the other. Um,
Awesome.
but in regards to mindset on game day, I'm probably the worst of the worst. I'm just a clown walking around, smiling, cracking
Nice.
jokes. But
That's huge though, bro, because like I talk about it a lot. When you're just enjoying the moment, like you don't have time for like thoughts and feelings to come in, and the moment's always going to be bigger than anything else. And
exactly,
like I'm
exactly.
sure you probably have a good vibe on the team culture as well, being that way. I would
I'd,
you
I,
would think,
I'd like
yeah,
to think that way. I'd
yeah.
like to think that way, or at least I'm
Maybe you
giving,
don't.
or at least I'm giving something back.
Yeah,
But yeah, no. Personally, I believe that if you think about it too much on game day, all those
yeah,
hours leading up to the game, you put too much pressure on yourself. That's just my personal point of view. So then you tend to forget everything that you've set for yourself as a goal early on that week or in the preparation up until that game. Yeah, it seems to all bundle up and explode, so you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing or when you're supposed to
man,
be doing it.
that's huge, bro. I've been posting a lot about that lately, and like that's where I try and talk about just being in the moment as much as you can, and because that's where the magic is, when you're in that
Yeah,
moment, enjoying thought three, and like I always go back to the All Blacks because they talk about it so much. just being thought through in the moment. They talk about thinking clutter and just trying to play what you see in a way and trust your instincts, intuition. And I just think as human beings, bro, we're so much smarter than we can ever think we are, you know,
Oh,
when you look
definitely.
at the whole body. So
Yeah.
the other thing, man, is that I know the All Blacks, they say a lot, if you get your game week right, Saturday takes care of itself. So is that kind of
Oh yeah.
your,
I'm 100 and I'm 100% into that.
yeah,
I think it was. I think I may have seen it not too long ago. Actually, one of your posts. I believe it was
okay,
maybe Sunny Bill
okay.
said that if on Saturday you're having meetings on Saturday, then it's a bit too late or
Yeah, yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
along those
something like
lines.
that. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
That's I'm pretty much the
I think
same.
it was a team talk. If you have to have a team talk on Saturday, then
Yeah, if
it's,
you have to have a team talk on Saturday, then
yeah,
it may be too late or something,
yeah, yeah,
something like that. I'm the same. If I try to, to flood everything in on game day, uh, it just falls apart. Or I use the whole week just to prepare. Uh, you know, just to basically turn everything that's supposed to happen in the weekend
yeah.
into a habit almost. Um,
Nice.
so, yeah, so rather than having try to go the extra mile to do something, it just kind of falls into place itself. Like I said, those hours leading up to the game is just empty mind.
In the
Stick to
moment.
stick to what you're used to, and then once game day cracks, well, the game, the first whistle goes, and you're all in.
So so by like, I know like a lot of people use routines to keep that control and familiarity. Do you have specific routines, or like a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
players use music to stay in the moment and keep their, keep
yeah.
present?
Um, uh, Personally, myself, I I remember growing up hearing that you shouldn't be eating steak the night before a game. It's just harder to digest, so better off eating chicken and pasta. But I guess we got used to a mum just, cutting up fillets of steak, chucking it in a pot with, tomatoes and onions and just cooking a little soup and having carbonara on the side, some carbonara on the side, and that was our game day meal. So I've kind of
Nice.
stuck to that throughout my career. So these days it's a long way from just little fillets of steak. It's a actual decent steak, um, but yeah, it's something that I tend to hold on to always,
See, that
always.
that probably brings like a sense of calmness, and a sense of familiarity, and you know what you
No,
know, sort of
definitely
thing,
does.
and
Yeah.
arousal. Eh? Um, so do you have any mental weapons, bro? Like in a game, do you have any? Is there any mental weapons? Any like phrases you use, or like
Yeah.
any routines?
Yeah. There's a number of them actually. I was always telling myself that it doesn't matter what you're gonna do, you're just gonna get back up again. Just keep getting back up.
Nice,
Uh, the guy in front of you's more than likely gonna crack if you just keep getting back up. So
awesome. That
it's
goes
just
back to when you were younger fella, right? Same mindset,
oh
sort
yeah,
of
oh
keep
yeah,
working
same
harder.
mindset. Especially with my older brother, Vatu, and
What's it? Yeah.
yeah, and my younger brother Sika. So it's
Well,
these
you grew up
these
like that, didn't you?
yeah, exactly, stuck in the middle and just getting yeah, getting either bullied from my older brother or
Yeah,
making
I
look
know.
stupid by my younger brother. So yeah,
Yeah, I know the story, mate.
yeah. So yeah, it's something I guess has been installed in me.
That, yep. So like
And
that's cool, man. That's like you can sort of see where like people try and say, oh, luck can get people places, but if we look at you, bro, like you sort of come deeply within your family, the support, the values, like, and it's almost like you learn that work ethic through growing up, like just always getting up,
oh
sort of
yeah,
thing.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely, definitely. I mean, just watching my old man, get up
Yeah.
at 6 o'clock in
Yeah.
the morning, with his little landscaping business. He'd get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, even when he was crook, down and out. He just got up. He
Man.
knew his
Far
why.
out.
So, he put everything on the line, and he was out there. It was pouring down with rain, Wellington.
Man. That's
And
like at you. That's like at you. Seems like he passed it on to you, bro. Yeah.
I think he's passed it on to a lot of us.
Yeah.
Even when times were hard, he was still out there
Far out.
trucking, just trying to install that work ethic in us. Sometimes we don't want to work, but we get up, we
Man, that's awesome. That's
go to
awesome for
work, and
these. Yeah.
yeah,
For the kids, like I get a lot of messages from players and like professional players, kids, schoolboys, and that's just awesome to hear from you, bro. Is that like when you got that mindset, like maybe not everyone can grow up with it like you, but you can get it, man. I'm sure you agree.
yeah,
You can
yeah. No,
get in that
definitely.
space.
Even if it's installed, whether it's installed from you at a young age, at some point, or not, at some point in your life, you're gonna learn that, work. If you put in the work, you're gonna make the yards, and it's, everybody gets there. Everybody will get to the
Yeah.
point where they understand that having a good work
Yeah.
ethic is something worth chasing after. It's just, I guess, it's just a matter of time before you learn that
Yeah.
work ethic
Yeah.
is a massive thing.
100%.
Yeah,
So a little bit more, bro, because like I'm sure there's the up, like in any human being, there's the ups and downs. So doing what you're doing and like getting where you got, the amount of work, how did you learn to love the process? Because that's something that I talk about a bit when you love, and like I know a lot of people do,
yeah,
when you fall in love with that process, that's almost the most important thing. You know what I mean? Like kind of what you're
yeah.
saying.
Personally, I believe that it was a whole lot of trial and error. It was a whole
Yeah.
lot of trial and error. I mean, being contracted at 18, you have to go through certain situations, certain circumstances where, you have to try things. Um, and if it doesn't work, then you adapt and you just keep
See,
adapting. You get,
see what you're saying, man, is like you realize most people don't have that. That's like having a growth mindset. You see failing as learning. You're
yeah,
okay with failing. Like most people don't have that, bro. Like that's most people are the opposite.
yeah, I don't know. It's personally, I believe that everybody's got it somewhere in it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so yeah,
just how they go about it. It's up
yeah,
to them, I mean, if you really do want it, you're gonna shift your shoulder out of place just to squeeze for a gap. It's a. I guess that's the most amazing thing about us as humans is that over centuries, over how many lifetimes we've learned to adapt, and
yes, 100%. Yep.
we learn as we go. It's nothing's really ever been set in stone. Like this is how it's going to be, or
Man,
this is how the process is. You find out that process along the way.
man, that's so much wisdom, brother. Like, man, we're speaking the same language here, 100%, bro. That's like evolutionary cycle. That's just it. That's like everything, and that just brings me back what I do as a teacher, and so much of it's about having a growth mindset and being
Yeah,
open-minded to different cultures, different people, learning from your mistakes, being okay with them.
yeah,
Um, and I only say that people don't have it because, like in my experience, it's so hard to change someone. Like they've got to change themselves. You know what I mean?
yeah. No,
Do
that's understandable. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've come across a lot of people who just were fixed in their ways. They,
yeah.
you couldn't tell them that a bar of soap was a bar of soap if you thought it was a Snickers bar.
That's what's so hard with
Um,
mindset stuff, man, because it's hard to get into people's minds. Like they gotta
yeah,
want it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, uh, no one's ever really been a real mind reader per se. So you can't really, you won't really understand what's going on in somebody's life, what somebody's been through, because you aren't them, obviously. So it's, a lot of the time with people in that situation these days, a lot of time in the past I would have maybe just walked away or maybe tried to argue with them, but these days it's just trying to find that medium where you can understand where they're coming from, and you can adapt yourself to their situation.
For sure, man. And that empathy is huge as well. I think that's a huge skill to have. Have on a positive note, have you seen like other players you've been around sort of be able to transform their mindset from fixed to more growth orientated, where they can?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of the younger kids these days, they're not offense to them, but they're really fixed to what they want. Let's say, but what they want is what they don't realize is that there's more than one way to get there. But what they tend to do is they tend to shut every single option out, except for the one that they believe is going to get them to from A to B. But I've seen a number of younger kids grow up and realize that there's not only one way. There's many roads to get to where you want to be. If you're not open to taking any of those roads and you're stuck on one path, maybe that one path will get you there, but the chances of you getting from A to B, taking, with all these other options, is a lot higher.
100%, bro. That's totally agree, man. And it's part of life, I guess, right? Like you said, man, you just it's dynamic. You got to adapt. You got to go with the flow of it. You can't. Yeah, exactly. You're never going to know. We don't know what's going to happen in half an hour exactly, right? 100%.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, no, that's is there any conditions you think that, just for some young players coming through, conditions that help them go to more of a growth mindset, or was it having a mentor, coming into the professional environment, or anything?
I guess for me personally, it was a hard road finding a mindset where I could grow. I was one of those young kids who thought that.
Yeah, me too, bro.
this way was the right way. And as time went past, I grew a little more mature per se, and my mindset started to open up a lot more. I was more open to being taught. I was more open to being helped rather than trying to do everything on my own. In regards to mindset, just how I trained. I would, it's hard to take advice, to be honest. It's, as a young kid, it's really hard to take advice. So, just getting to that point where you realize that growth is a massive thing, that is probably the pinnacle of where you can be. That's probably the best place you can be.
Well, the potential is unlimited, right? Like, you can kind of do whatever you want to do, man, if you have that mindset. Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure. Just before we wrap up, bro, it's been awesome to catch up and have a chat with you. And when I share this through to YouTube, Facebook, and podcast, on Anchor, iTunes, Google, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of players learning a lot from you, because I've learned a lot myself. And something that's important to me, man, is that how people can take stuff around mindset and mental skills and tools that they use them in their real life to be a better person, or maybe deal with anxiety better, or be more confident. Is there any, do you have any more, do you see how that could work, or any advice for people around that?
In regards to people who are struggling with mindset?
Oh, just like anyone in general, like just like people that could use mindset to just be a better person or to have more self-belief, even if they're not rugby players,
Mm.
like, or to deal with anxiety better. Is there anything as a rugby player that you think they could help in that way? Anything that you've learned?
Anything that I've learned as a rugby player, a little bit of advice that I would give is just believe. It's it's not one thing
Yeah,
that we really want to hear, but have faith. If
yeah.
you if you really do want something, you're gonna get it if you believe in it.
See,
Um,
I agree with that, bro. Carry on, sir.
so yeah, basically that's it. That's all I've got. If you really do believe in it, go after it. You know, put your all into it. Um, everything will fall into place, and do the right thing. I guess
Mm.
is yeah, just repeating what my parents what my parents said. So yeah,
Yeah, oh, man, you've got some. Yeah, knowing your parents, man, they're beautiful parents, man, and
yeah,
it's a blessing just for me to know them and your family, bro. Because the Manus are a pretty cool family. Um, on saying that, man, I looked at this research recently because what you're saying was sort of proven in science in a way. Because if you buy a new car, you start seeing the car everywhere, right?
mm,
Like that becomes your mindset. You start seeing it
yeah,
come up everywhere. Then it kind of is exactly what you're saying. If you believe in something 100%, you're going to start seeing it and you're going to start manifesting it
yeah,
as your reality. Like like you said,
yeah.
man, it sounds a little bit like I don't know, not that practical, but when you look at it like that, it's 100% practical.
Yeah, I came across the same thing not too long ago. In regards to looking at the time, and it always said 9/11, but you always seem to notice it when it says
Yeah,
9/11,
yeah,
but not any other time.
yeah.
That's almost the same concept as that. Yeah, you
100.
start
Oh man,
noticing the
yeah,
things
yeah.
that are really on your mind. You know.
Or
Um,
666 is one I notice a lot.
yeah,
The time or
yeah,
just the number.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So no,
There's
it's
some evidence behind it, man. It's not all just saying about it. There's some
yeah,
evidence.
yeah. No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's a massive thing, I guess, in my life too. It's a
Yeah.
as soon as you fix your everything, your everything basically to the goals that you want, then you're definitely
Mm.
going to get there. I mean,
But that's about going all in, I guess, right? Like it is hard. It ain't gonna be easy, sort of
oh,
thing.
it's never going to be easy, no.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right. It is going all in.
You know how you just to finish off, bro. You said about in a game the mindset of getting back up.
Yeah.
Do you ever use imagery? Like, do you use imagery, or in a game, do you actually think it at certain times, like specifically, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think every single time, just get up. I know it comes out the most when it hurts.
Yeah.
When somebody's just blindsided me or just put a really good hit on me, and it
Mm,
actually hurts. I can't let them see that it actually hurt me enough to keep me down.
yeah.
Um, during my warm up, with being a professional rugby player, you tend everything starts flowing in. So that once you start seeing all the fans coming to the stand,
Yeah.
you start to get a little distracted. So a little saying to myself is, stay within these lines. It's
Nice.
just to almost to block everything out.
Nice, man.
So yeah, I always say to myself, stay within these lines. You can't win the fight if you're not in the ring. So that
Man.
then
See,
becomes my ring. So
far out. That's some real gold you got there, bro, because you got some positive self-talk to focus and zone you in. You've got like a mantra about getting up, and
yeah,
like I was reading Jordan Tofor, the Crusaders player.
yeah,
He said recently on his story on Instagram that his was "Be the Beast." I think that was like his
yeah,
mantra, "Be the Beast."
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
is that pretty common with your players you've played with? They have some sort of mantra or guiding statement.
I tend to use it a lot with the players that I play with who struggle a lot with self-confidence.
Yeah.
In regards to something, we actually have
Who's that?
a young player.
Who's that, right? Is that Taniela Tupou? That's my brother.
Hey, Doko, how are you, Docs?
Sorry, man. I cut you off.
No, you're right. It's we do have a player here who really struggles with self-confidence too, especially on the field. So he kicks himself in the bum whenever he makes a mistake or whenever he feels like he hasn't done anything good enough. But every game, I mean, he's been starting the last, I believe it's the last 6 games he's been starting at Lucia Prop. And before every game, I just walk up to him and say, hey, today be a beast. And that's just something that I'm trying to install and just trying to put it in him so that he knows that he can, because he's killing it at the moment.
Is that part of you giving back as well, do you feel? Or
this game's given me so much. So the least I can do is give a little something back, right?
And then you're looking, man, like I can see you now. Now I'm seeing you being like the next Rock, bro, the Tongan Rock. You're acting.
We've got the Tongan Thor following.
Tongan Thor. Do you reckon that's you after rugby? You'll try and get into that?
Yeah. Not so much.
Man, you're a natural, bro. You're a natural actor, man.
Thanks,
you're natural out there.
So the Rock is doing his thing, and him, he's awesome. He's killing it. But that level, I want to be up next to him. One day, hopefully beside him.
With your work ethic and belief, brother, like you said, man, it's unlimited, man.
Yeah.
The quantum field is what they call it. The physicist.
Yeah. Well,
you get into that.
The law of attraction, right?
Yeah, there's all that stuff too. Same stuff, man. It's all the same stuff. Like your manifest. Like I say it as in like your internal is your external, right? Because at the end of the day, you're one whole. It's like you're a whole being.
Definitely.
It's kind of an illusion that there's 2 separate things. So, like yourself, it's almost like where you've been, you've manifested your life through your thinking and feeling and your state.
Yeah, I guess you could say that in a lot of ways. But
if you go deep, man, into it, like you could say that in a way.
Yeah, some people say it's the universe. Some people say it's God.
That's the thing, bro. And I talked with Peter from Rugby Bricks, and he had a great point last time. He said the reason why a lot of rugby players who have a deep belief in God, why they can go so far is they've got that big picture, man. That thing they believe in more than themselves, and it just like I think whatever way you have that, it just everything else is just not so significant, right?
Yeah.
The purpose is just burning there, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like things are going to happen for a reason. You're going to get to where you're meant to be.
100%, bro.
And whatever path you take, you're going to get there either way. Always say that the day I'm going to die is the day I'm going to die. Can't change it today. Can't change it tomorrow. So you might as well go.
I love that, all in for it. I'm going to use that one, mate.
Have it, mate. You can take it.
Bro, that is awesome. That's awesome, man. That's kind of like destiny, sort of, what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
Man, I'm going to use that, bro. That's wicked.
It's all yours, brother.
Bro, it's been awesome, bro. I hope to get over to France someday and catch up with you.
You've always got a room here when you're here, mate.
But like so much wisdom, bro. I'm glad that just for people who are rugby players or even people who aren't rugby players, they can take away so much from you, bro. So thanks heaps for
thank you.
Giving your time, man. Appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure.
Appreciate all the wisdom, again, bro. So much wisdom there, knowledge.
It's good to get a good chat. Good to get a good chat with you, man. It's been a while. It's been a while.
We'll catch up again sometime, brother. Take it easy, Toko. Take it easy,
all right,
man.
Toko.
Best wishes to the family, my bro.
Likewise,
See you
my
later,
bro.
everyone.
God bless, bro. Ciao.
You too, brother. Later.